Michigan and Georgia are meeting in the college football playoff on December 31st. Wasn't sure if I'd ever see this day. You see, I'm a Michigan fan who's lived most of his life in North Georgia. Most of my best friends are Georgia fans, and they've had a lot to be excited about the last few years. Me? Not so much. Cue Don Brown getting torched by Ohio State montage. But Georgia struggled mightily the last time that we saw them take the field, whereas Michigan has never looked better under Jim Harbaugh than they do right now. They're the hottest they've ever been right now. On one hand, you have Georgia, who has been in the college football playoffs. They've been in the national championship game recently. And after beating Clemson early in the season, they were everybody's number one pick for the rest of the year, basically. On this hand, you have Michigan, who was unranked, and most experts and even Michigan fans projected them to finish middle of the pack in the Big Ten East. 8-4, 9-3, maybe at the best. But because of the way that Michigan's been playing lately, people think they have a real chance to beat Georgia. And I am one of those people. But it's not going to be an easy task. A lot of things have to go right in order for Michigan to win that game. Luckily, a lot of hardware has been given out to the 2021 Michigan team. Best offensive line, best kicker, coach of the year, assistant of the year. So I think that the team is capable, but none of that hardware means anything if they don't execute in Miami. So I've come up with a list of 5 things that I think Michigan football needs to do if they want to beat Georgia. Let me know if you agree. Number 1, stay committed to the run. Georgia has a great run defense, but that should not scare Michigan away from what they've been doing all year. Ohio State knew that Michigan was going to run the ball, and they still ran it down their throats. It might be predictable, but I think that Michigan is going to try to test the interior of Georgia's D-line, even though they have Jordan Davis. They're going to run Haskins up the middle some just to see what they got. If they can get a push there, it's going to be a long day for Georgia's defense. But then you have Blake Corum on the outside, quick to the edge. And then you have the freshman Donovan Edwards, who's been emerging as a great pass catcher. So you have 3 good running backs who all do different things. And I think Georgia's going to be not really sure exactly what Michigan's plan is going to be. But I think one thing is for sure, and that's that Michigan is going to try to run the ball. That's their identity. You know, when Josh Gaddis first came in, it was a speed and space, everything. But they've gone back to kind of their roots of just running the ball. And it's produced great results this year. Now, it might be tempting to pass after seeing what Alabama did against Georgia. And I'm sure that Michigan will mix in some passes early, maybe take some shots down the field, maybe do some trick plays. We've seen quite a few flea flickers, halfback passes, and things like that. But I do think that Michigan will and needs to stick to the run. Number 2, score touchdowns in the red zone. With a defense like Georgia that's this good, you can't settle for field goals. Opportunities are probably going to be few and far between of being able to score at all. I don't see it being a high-scoring affair in the Orange Bowl. I think it's going to be low-scoring. There might be a few big plays here and there, but for the most part, I think it's going to be a battle in the trenches. So it's important when the teams get down there close that they're getting 7 points and not 3. Settling for field goals is what got Michigan in trouble early in the season, against Michigan State. Jake Moody, I think, kicked 4 field goals, and they ended up losing that game. Just squandered opportunities where they could have put teams away. Same thing in the Nebraska game. Michigan kicked a lot of field goals and came close to losing that game. So it's all about scoring 7 instead of 3 when they get close. As mentioned, Michigan has a great kicker. Jake Moody's only missed 2 field goals all year, but I really don't want to see him out there unless he's kicking extra points. We haven't seen him much in the last few games, and that's a good thing. Against Ohio State, it was touchdowns. Against Iowa, it was touchdowns, and that needs to continue against Georgia. I feel like Josh Gaddis has really dialed up his play calling in the red zone. He's miles ahead of what it was last year. Number 3 is mix in J.J. McCarthy. Michigan football will be J.J. McCarthy's team in the future. There's no doubt about it. He's got more talent than Cade McNamara. He's got more upside. He's got the scrambling ability. He's got the arm strength. He's got everything. But this year, it's Cade's team. Cade has shown his leadership, and, all of the teammates and all the coaches have all the trust in the world in Cade, and rightfully so. But I think it's important that Michigan sprinkles in McCarthy some. That'll help keep the Georgia defense even more off balance, because they see McCarthy coming in the game. Is he going to run it? Is he going to pass it? Most of the time, I think that defense think it's going to be a read option when McCarthy's in, and he's going to run the ball. But he's shown the ability to make some crazy throws down the field. So if I'm Michigan, I put McCarthy in there and I'll let him throw. I'll let him throw one early, but also, have him do some of the read options, keep the defense off balance, mix in the quarterbacks a little bit. I would make it probably 85% Cade and the other 15% JJ McCarthy, but he needs to be out there because he adds an extra element. It kind of reminds me of, ironically enough, the Jake Fromm, Justin Fields situation from a few years ago at Georgia, where you have the established leader quarterback who's taken them where they are now, and you have the more talented quarterback on the bench who's waiting his turn. And so I think it's kind of funny, because these teams are so similar in so many ways, and that's just another way. Number 4 is force Georgia into obvious passing situations. Now, as a defense, this is what you always want to do. Stop them on first and second down, make it third and long, so your defense can just sort of pin their ears back and go. Another way that Georgia and Michigan are similar. They're not the teams that are necessarily built to play from behind. They want to play with the lead. They want ball control. They want to run the ball. They want to play good defense. And neither team's strength is the quarterback. So I think the more that you force Georgia into obvious passing situations, the better it is for Michigan, because you have on one side Aiden Hutchinson, who finished second in the Heisman voting. And then on the other side, you have David Ojabo, who is projected to be a top 10 pick. If they can just get after the quarterback and not worry about a run situation, that plays into Michigan's favor. And the 5th and final thing, which I think actually might be the biggest key to Michigan winning this game, is that they have to play loose. This team has played loose all year. Don't let the moment be too big. And it feels like that's kind of been the story of this year. At Wisconsin, they were jumping around more than the Wisconsin players were. At Nebraska, when they played Thunderstruck, even though Michigan was losing, the players were fired up going into the fourth quarter. It just seems like they're poised, they're ready, the moment's not too big for them, and that's got to continue into this game. They have to play loose. And I do think that they'll play looser than Georgia, because Georgia is feeling all this pressure. Michigan wasn't even supposed to be here. Michigan wasn't even supposed to compete for the Big Ten. Yet they beat Ohio State handily. They won the Big Ten championship handily, and now here they are in the college football playoff in a game they're not even supposed to be in. They don't have the pressure on them. They're playing with house money. Everything from here on out is a bonus. Georgia, on the other hand, just lost to Alabama again. The fans are starting to get a little bit antsy. They're starting to wonder, can they get over the hump? And so the pressure is on Georgia, not on Michigan. If Michigan can get the lead early and make Georgia feel even more of that pressure and put them in a situation where they're trying to come from behind, all this is just going to play into Michigan's advantage. It's going to be two great teams in a slugfest. I can't wait to watch. I know that all my friends who are Georgia fans don't want to see Michigan in the national championship, but do we really want to watch Alabama and Georgia play again? Aren't we a little bit sick of that? Come on. We got to get Michigan in there. You know what's sad is I'm actually going to be in South Florida this week, but I'm not going to go to the game. So it's like torture. But hopefully I'll run into some Michigan fans while I'm down there, and I'll pass along the good vibes. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Go Blue, and Michigan is back, baby.